Hello, my name is Juliana Montes, and today I will be presenting my critical article review. The topic I chose to focus on for this assignment is intimate partner violence. This is a subject of matter that I'm very passionate about and I feel needs to be advocated for more. The article I chose took a different approach to intimate partner violence than we're used to seeing. In other words, yes, intimate partner violence negatively impacts those who experience it firsthand, but affect those who hear about it as well. Secondary experience to trauma can result in secondary traumatic stress disorder, compassion fatigue, and vicarious traumatization. This is very common among human service professionals who conduct psychosocial services to victims involved. I was already aware of how detrimental intimate partner violence can be to a person's physical and psychological well being, but I found it fascinating how it could have the same effect on those who are just hearing about it. Due to growing concerns around this issue, studies have been conducted to see how we can help human service workers cope when aiding those affected by intimate partner violence. Because the topic was so broad, a scoping review was conducted to get a better understanding. Researchers reviewed thousands of databases and surveys, which included keywords that would best help them find the information that they were looking for. These resources consisted of qualitative, quantitative, and mixed research methods. To make sure there are no skewed results, the study primarily focuses on those who offer psychological services. This means doctors, cops, and firefighters were excluded from the study, although they do experience negative effects of secondary trauma as well. The research and many studies found were narrowed down until they reached a consensus of 13 empirical studies to be included. With the finalized information, those who conducted this research created an Excel spreadsheet of their findings to make the process of analyzing easier. Through this research, there are many findings that could help combat the issues present in the article. Because this is a negative topic, you're going to have negative findings. When it came to the physical impacts of intimate partner violence, human service workers often had feelings of being physically exhausted. The psychological impacts found include intrusive thoughts and memories, wanting to get away from clients, and experiencing visual imagery of violent incidents they had been told about. The emotional impacts of this work were found to include feeling horrified by experiences they heard, being emotionally drained, angry, depressed, powerless, and irritable. The objective of this research is to try to help human service workers create preventative strategies so that they don't fall victim to secondary traumatic stress disorder, compassion fatigue, and vicarious traumatization. When discussing personal growth and enjoyment, it was found that for some, hearing about intimate partner violence resulted in a sense of privilege to be able to share in the struggles of their clients or enjoyment in seeing the growth and change. Many also reported that it gave them new ways of seeing power in relationships and behaviors related to gender. They reported an increase in their level of empathy towards women, which resulted in an increased awareness of violence against women. For men in this field of work, these experiences made them explore their own identities out of the fear that they may be offending their male clients. Lastly, on the topic of stress, traumatization, and self care, when asked about the impacts of their work, many reported that it increased their vulnerability to vicarious trauma and stress. On the other hand, some reported that they did not feel impacted by this work or believed the impacts to be preventable. I feel that how someone is impacted depends on the severity of the situation and one's own way of analyzing it. Those who were interviewed stated that they preferred self care activities that were restorative rather than avoidant. Examples of these activities include going for walks, watching TV and films, or reading books. Lastly, social support in their workplaces was reported as being very impactful. Studies found that supporting the positive impact of the workplace for human service providers exposed the risk of traumatization. Training based around intimate partner violence intervention was also included as an important type of workplace social support. When looking back on the findings of this scoping review, they were deemed to be significant. Through all of the research conducted, there is consistent evidence showing that human service workers can suffer as a result of exposure to details of their clients' traumatic events and experiences. In this study, there were also many limitations present. They include the following: findings being generalized, sources being outdated, and definitions not being clearly defined. These limitations can affect the internal validity. I feel that the way in which the study was structured was done well, but the gaps in research don't make it a perfect study. I didn't see issues with external validity because the findings were applicable to the many aspects of the topic and the real world as well. To conclude this presentation, I would like to talk about the current situation in the world today. COVID 19 has swept across the globe and has caused distress to everyone in one way or another. The reason why I am bringing up the pandemic in my presentation today is because due to us having to quarantine, that means we have to stay inside our homes and try to stop the spread of the virus. With increased time being spent in our homes, it has been found that intimate partner violence rates are skyrocketing. The topic is very prevalent in the world today, and I want to bring awareness to it. Because I am big on advocacy for this issue, I want to leave some resources for you guys just in case you know someone who has been affected by intimate partner violence. I hope that you all enjoyed listening to my presentation. Thank you all for listening as well. Feel free to give me feedback if you'd like to.